issues of producing production in concert organization music. This can be easily, since production is basically solving problems that appear, can be easily a whining theme full of, you want things that are bothering us, things we have encountered, things we have to solve, things that are disturbing our way to the bliss of making music and so on. But I think we can still first try to look at this issue in the light of fantasizing of dreaming about programs of being a person who is still sort of artistic stuff and has a certain vision which has not been eroded by the long-term TV production. Nicolina here is suffering most of the hits of musical production. Every year, at least once, she said it would be lovely to do this and this program there in this particular spot. It would be wonderful. So she never loses basically this freshness of approach. So the first question for my colleagues. My colleagues are running two very different festivals or venues. Ivana Maja, she's running the festival, the Arts Festival in Zadar and Konolar region, which is detached from Dubrovnik and has a totally different type of tourism, much more leisurely, much more in harmony with the locality, with the way people live there normally, not just in the tourist season. And of course, with a smaller budget, with smaller public pressure, everything is more familiar, more cozy, and has a certain freedom to do things as she wishes more than we do. On the other hand, she doesn't have the resources we have. And our colleague who runs the Revelin Culture Club, in which you have all seen upon exiting the old town on the left-hand side, so in the ring parts of the old town. Basically, there's a big club that features club music and all type of events that we, like people from the classical side of the cultural festival. Some of them we, of course, we dislike, some of them we support, some of them we sometimes in collision, but manage to live alongside with each other. So each one of us can perhaps demonstrate his side of facing the everyday, this machinery or process of doing things and knowing things in advance that are going to spoil the fun, and discovering new things that will be the obstacles in the way for complete happiness, and yet having at least one part of our entity free to think and to plan and to fantasize and to be able to produce new programs. So how do you approach this topic?
Well, first of all, I also would like to present myself. I'm Ivana, Epidaurus, a concert pianist from Dubrovnik, a native of Dubrovnik, with very ancient roots from Cavtat. Therefore, as I have been always very connected to this beautiful, picturesque place on the very south of Croatia, I have decided to, if I will do something in my life, one day I will start in Cavtat something culturally, artistically, aesthetically. And of course we have arrived to number 16. I have written some things that I would like to read, as I have been focused on that right now. And I tried my heart out to be with you today here, because our finale is just arriving. From tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, 3 different concerts, 3 different settings, 3 different problems and problematics. So also the climate now is sunshine and smiling, but we will see later on. We are very optimistic, as we always are, and must be. And I'm very happy. I also thank you to all of you, the staff and organization, to having invited me here. Feeling very honored. It's very detached and very emotionally connected to my city of Dubrovnik, which I hope all of you agree one must be. Problems. I would like to read to you what I have written, because it's easy. Since the very foundation of the festival, my search for environments has been tireless. And it still lasts. And it will last. The location I chose. The location I chose. Location I chose. To set up a project is a very big challenge. To set up a project is a very big challenge. What a nice voice.
Live electronics.
What a lovely voice. This is for Narcissoid. Narcissoid. Of course, the imagination is always more important. The imagination is overall important, even more than the knowledge. Oh, Nina. That's serious. For instance, you who have visited Taftat, you know that we have also some very old spots, like the Račić Mausoleum by Maestro. We have Vlaho Bukovac, a native Taftat, one of the greatest painters of all times, Croatia, who was born in Taftat in 1855. We all try to recall. But my fantasy goes so far that only after I have settled up all the settings, my God, that's an acoustics. Then after that, only after that, I think about funds. And I've been so lucky in 16 years that we could bring.
That's the keywords. This is Revelin.
Lovely. That's a key.
I mean, this is really fantastic that you put in the first place always what you want from the festival, because it is your sort of life plan.
It is a risk.
Yes.
It is a beautiful risk, and somehow it depends on us how we present it to those who might then sort of warm it up and make it happen. Račić Mausoleum on the top of, with choral things, with guitar, with high acoustical characteristics. So we tried to do a solo concert, like a solo horn player played for us, etc., etc. Then we are pioneers of concerts in the native house of Bukovac, surrounded by those beautiful paintings. We try to sort of be a part of the paintings, and then inviting a historian of art, very professional ones from Croatia and from abroad. And people are very, very sort of in symbiosis with all this, what we try to do. Also, we have the Rector's Palace, which is HAZU, the Croatian Academy of Science and Arts, which is
so the Rector's Palace
in
on the grounds of Dubrovnik Republic.
Exactly.
The principal one and all the others that he used, or some of for occasions, different occasions.
Exactly, yeah. Thank you. And in front, the front yard is so beautiful, it's so intimate, it's so sort of like at home, that somehow even the lighting, even the sound is, I try to put down all together in the symbiosis. And the audience, just the other day, 2 days ago, we had a celebration of 100 years of the death of Vlaho Bukovac, the greatest painter from this country. And it was so beautiful, because even the lighting on the Rector's Palace, I sort of managed to look like his canvases. And it was so really, really beautiful. What I was so happy with the critics afterwards. People wrote, even from the HAZU, from the Croatian Academy of Science and Arts, said it could not be better. So I think
for me, that can be something to fly.
Do you have concerts in just in nature, in vineyards, in gardens, in vineyards, winemakers, terraces?
Exactly, that's what I was coming to.
Yes.
Wildness, you said.
Wilderness, yeah.
Wilderness. Nothing wild about me, but there are areas in Konavle region that are very wild because of this very steep mountains. Mountains are rough. And so we have this Franciscan monastery, which also this is a proof that we have a Franciscan monastery suddenly, somewhere in between of nothing. There is a beautiful Franciscan monastery appearing in front, and when I firstly came there as an artistic director, I said, wow. I said, here I will settle the first opera in Konavle. With this, you must also know that we were devastated in 1991 to 1995, and also this monastery suffered a lot. So it was very important, the message of Mozart, Bastian and Bastiena, in the Siegspiel, in this atrium of a Franciscan monastery in between of nothing, devastated even more. In this silence, which is holy, we created an opera that even the maestro Krančević, maestro Mičić, your colleagues, conducted, and they were so impressed. When I think, now I don't read anymore. Thank you, you inspired me. I remember barking of the dogs so loud, and jackals, they barked so loud that even the softest pianissimo was something that was nice together with the dogs, and everybody smiled, but even the fortissimo, they were louder. And so we needed to sort of smile and go on. And there are things that we meet. I think that I have answered almost all the questions now, so I will stop.
Thank you. So we understand the problem of barking dogs and of the birds in the concert venue, which is sort of a mild disturbance for the concert because they are natural sounds. So Vlado here, you don't have any problems with barking of the dogs and the birds. You just overkill them.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Vlado. Before we start, I would like to state a point that I really do like classical music, no matter in which business I am right now. So, just to give you a small background of myself, born in Split, living in Dubrovnik for the last almost 20 years. So I really feel like Dubrovnik, and Dubrovnik took me as a guest in the beginning, but it became my hometown, and I really feel comfortable here, and I'm enjoying Dubrovnik very much. And this is the place where basically I will remain. I was leaving Dubrovnik 4 times, I was coming back 4 times. Now I bought a house and I said this is my place to live. So I decided to be definitely my hometown. 23 years in hospitality business, in various sort of hospitality business, not in classical music at all, but having a role of general manager of Culture Club Revelin brought me a completely new insight of what actually, no matter which culture, whether it's classical, whether it's electronic, can bring you the knowledge that you can pick up, the people that you can meet, the socializing with the different sorts of artists in a way, can bring you inspiring part in you. Culture Club Revelin has opened the doors 12 years ago in Fortress Revelin, which was there for 600 years before that. The owner had the idea of bringing a multifunctional space, multi-purpose venue, not only for the electronic music, but also for social gatherings, for conferences, for gala evenings, for classical concerts, and so on and so on. Therefore, it's a beautiful venue, and I really do invite you all. We are open every day, or actually every night, and for you who are interested to see the different aspects of the culture and the music itself. In regards to problems, in regards to issues, I wouldn't say the problems, because problems are something that you hardly solve, but the issues that you have, it's just a matter of people and the team that you work with, and basically how to work on these issues. I think every business carries these kinds of things that you will find and encounter issues all the way through. Our main issue when we were opening the Culture Club was definitely a sound. Obviously, being in the stone palace with reflection of the sound through the walls and arches and things, we really have studied a lot, and we really invested a lot of finances and research and looking for the right people to do the sound there. So we basically, in cooperation with Croatian people and Austrian experts, it took about a month and a half to 2 months of checking, rechecking, how to actually beat that issue of deflecting music from the walls. Finally, after many calculations, mathematical, physical, and everything else, we have managed to overcome that and basically make a perfect sound, no matter which kind of music we are talking about, whether it's a classical music, whether it's a rock concert, whether it's electronic music, which is kind of hard because each music requires certain levels and backgrounds of preparation. Therefore, this was something that was definitely a big challenge when we talk about it. We even had an issue, since it's a UNESCO protected building, we needed to prove that basically the bass and the sounds will not affect and damage the walls. So we had 5 years of monitoring that connected directly to Zagreb office to make sure that the measurements show the correct figures and the numbers in order not to make any kind of wrong influence inside of the building itself. Having an electronic music and knowing that the bass can hit really hard, we didn't know at that time what do we expect and what actually we are facing when it comes to that. But luckily, after 5 years, we really managed to get the positive results, and actually it was a revelation for me that the bass and the sound does not affect the structure and the walls itself. This was something.
Just the people.
Just the people. I promise you, put it a little bit lower.
I think we have to focus. I think the problems where our audience, at least the younger part of our audience, can just, after a break, walk and then have a sort of connection for after party. I think it's not impossible to think of such programs. But tell me, when you plan programs in Revelin, what are your what things do work most regarding the attraction of the people and just the functionality of the venue and the sound capacities?
Obviously, being oriented to clubbing as a first option, and because after all it does bring any finances to reinvest in the business, we have focused on the magazine and affiliation called Top DJ Mag, which is a world-known affiliation which puts us on the 22nd best place in the world clubs. A-list DJs, which these days is another, I would say, issue. It's a pretty tough market that you're dealing with. A lot of clubs, obviously, since that music is taking over in a fashion, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy to bring and money, obviously, to bring all those names that are popular at that time. Obviously, electronic music is not like classical music that you would have a Beethoven who is for a lifetime. These things change quite a bit in electronic industry. All the new artists are coming very fast with certain hits and records, and so that would present a lot of challenges actually to book them out and to make a large amount of people happy, because after all it is a place which gathers around 12 to 1400 people, and you need to please them, most of them with electronic tastes and obviously service and everything else that comes with the experience of the Revelin.
It was one of the latest that was here in Revelin.
Shaquille O'Neal was one of the latest. I don't know, probably everybody heard about Shaquille O'Neal because he was a basketball player first, very famous basketball player, but he does the DJ, whether you believe it or not. He does it quite good for a basketball player of 2'20". We have to do all sorts of measurements and changings for him because obviously he's not a regular size. So that was another technical issue, if you want to put it that way. When you remind me.
So you don't have problems with choosing which venue is ideal for the because there is one venue to choose the people.
There is one venue, although we have a option of using the terrace of Revelin, where we need to be really careful. We do very seldom those events, obviously because it affects crowd, that it's a residential area. So basically, you need to be very, very cautious. When it comes to that, you don't want to definitely put people in a situation where they feel uncomfortable, because obviously the sound itself on the terrace can be very appealing if you like that kind of music or any kind of music, but when it comes out from the wall, it's a distortion and the bass. So basically, I understand people, and I really sometimes can understand what they're saying, because you're getting reflection of the sound that is not actually the music. If they could hear the real music, maybe they would even enjoy it on their terraces. But this way, you're just getting the half sounds, reflections of the sounds, and so therefore that's something that is kind of challenging.
This terrace is something that we actually share. The Summer Festival does also productions on the terrace, which is beautiful. So it's on the top of the rampart, and you can see most of the town. Even if you're on the upper seats, there's always breeze. So it's really something very nice to do it for dramatic performances, more rarely than concerts. Now, I know that in my line of work here in Dubrovnik, it's really a big thing to choose what to put where, what type of production, what type of concerts to put where. Sometimes, I remember my first years here, I was very discovering hot water, as we say here. Things that the people have tried before, but they failed with a reason. Still, it's very appealing to see the venue and to have this sense for the atmosphere, what would fit perfectly in this particular venue. But now then you of course come across various problems, like we cannot really lift a Steinway on Lovrenet's fortress or without the serious issues, because the staircase is made for military and for prisoners and not for your leisure. Or we have to shut down 4 restaurants on the prime of their harvesting for the supper, because you would like to do a wonderful concert for the Jesuit church. So those things do not work, and we really have to balance them well. Now I think that Nikolina if she's available, and she looks quite available.
She's working, but she doesn't hear anything you said. So,
Oh my God.
Can you hear me now? So we are talking about the second topic, just how to decide where to put which program, and something that looked very nice in the beginning turned out to be a nightmare on a second glance.
Okay, but in the 70 years we already know some locations which are definitely confirmed as the best locations for some program, like Rector's Palace Atrium, which hopefully you will have a chance to visit, because it's not so good weather to go for swimming in your free time. So maybe you should just check Rector's Palace, and also the 2 main locations, for example, for big hunters like galas and great opening of the festival, which is in front of the Sun Blaze, or in front of the cathedral, which has their own production issues. As you can see, the noise from the town, the touristic crowd, lots of different stuff. So I don't know if because literally I didn't hear what you said before.
We were not complaining much. We were just looking forward to still savoring the possibilities, like the first time, trying to.
Well, yeah, those are the best locations because of the capacities for the audience, for so many different reasons.
Okay. So
and same as Park Gradac during the last 3 years became a really nice option also for the concerts, which we didn't have before. We usually had drama plays on Gradac, but during Corona and limited capacity, we decided to put concerts and folklore on Park Gradac, which at the end became a really nice new location on the musical map.
But we need amplification for Park Gradac. It's a park looking lot just above Pilac under Lovrenac. It's a wonderful position, half in the woods with a great view on the town. But you need amplification for all the things that happen. So, how much do you pay for, if I may know, for instance, monthly, for just maintaining the equipment of your of Revelin?
Usually the equipment is not monthly. It's all this equipment takes out through season, and then later on you do the reparation, because it's impossible to do any kind of reparation unless it's really emergency reparations while the season is lasting. You do 160 days constant work from starting 15th of April, ending half of October. So it's every night. Plus the days you have events as well where you combine day and night. So it's very hard to actually do the regular maintenance on anything unless really then it's required.
And then when it comes to maintenance, how much does it cost if it's not a secret?
It costs over 100,000 euros to sort out.
It's not so much actually.
Depends on actually the light is very sensitive. Depends on the hours of working. Depends on how long do you have that particular light. If you buy expensive light in the beginning, you have less repercussions later on. If you buy cheaper product, obviously the service costs more. So it really varies from type of light that you buy, the quality and the price is definitely something that you play with. But obviously you cannot have finances to buy everything the most expensive, so you do basically balancing out depending on the budget of the
Thank you. Nikolina, how much do we have to pay, say, for the how much do we have to pay for the amplification on Gradac? Za razglas na Gracu, koliko mora se recimo, koliko košta razglas na Gracu?
Razglas na Gracu, it depends on the difficulty of the program. So, I mean, if it's like a really big project, I don't know, probably it costs between, I don't know exactly because I'm not a technical director, but it's between maybe 20,000 kuna, 3,000 euro, and so on.
The same.
So it's rather challenging to fit the budget with the big projects in the ambient.
Well, I mean, it's really, I think that you compare...
She said 3,000.
20,000, yeah, and 3,000 euros, approximately.
It's just the sound system, nothing else.
Sound system and light. Is it the light also included?
No.
The lightning? No? We pay from...
Where in?
In Belgrade, in Serbia.
Really?
10 and 15, yes.
Really?
4,000 to 15, depending on the size of
We have good suppliers.
We pay from 5,000 kuna to 20.
Depending,
Wow.
we're trying to amplify the sound and not so big.
Yeah.
And it's really, we try to do it as decent as possible. For two reasons. One is the price, and second is we don't want to destroy the sound too much. Now, of course, if we're playing in front of the cathedral with 700-800 people in a very long row, you need to count the sound. And then we don't save money on
cost of the system or the venue?
System.
Of the sound system.
Of the sound
We
system.
have one company we're dealing with. It's much more reliable and easier. So they have prices which are the same, just depending on the quantity of the microphones
Only
which
the
are they're
sounds.
using. Yes.
And not the screens and so on.
No, and we don't really save money on producers because they know how to make a proper sound. Because this is really still cheap.
Regarding costs, the most challenging and most expensive are a big location in the old town, which is in front of the Assembly Church and in front of the cathedral, because it's a wide space to cover, and it's usually a big orchestra, which then
A lot, bro.
it's
Yes.
getting more and more expensive.
It's demanding.
Each musician you add to the project.
I mean, curiously, it used to be there were many venues in Dubrovnik that were affordable and accessible without any amplification in the old town core back in the 70s, where we've seen photos of the orchestras, big names that played in front of the church, on the square. It was really the stone itself was enough. But nowadays it's impossible because there's a basic layer of who knows how many decibels of just hum of the town, and there are of course unexpected intrusions on groups that really do not know that something's happening in the town. So it's not a reservoir of art anymore, and we have to find a way. Now, talking about finding a way, usually we are discussing just difficulties of surviving in this type of still massive tourism, which is not basically ideal thing would be if the festival like this would be recognized as something that people come for that reason to Dubrovnik, or if not only for that as well, and to collect the type of tourists that would like to be in the place where those things are being offered.
This is
however,
what
we have very
developed it.
That's ideal. We have very random harvest of tourists, and it's not doable at the moment. Still, I believe that if we invested more brains and time, we could find a way that, of course, would have to be affordable to everyone and lucrative, and to try, instead of tolerating each other, just to try to find certain spots where we can really live in symbiotic relation and try to enhance each other's incomes and type of offer. Now, do you think there's something in a more relaxed type of tourism in Cornwall? Is it possible?
It's absolutely marvelous what we have developed now in the 16th year of making with many problems and many etc. in the last 3 years. What happened exactly this year, it's a triumph of tourists that are contacting us when are the events, when the festival will go on. It's starting from Christmas time or even earlier, because they would like to book their stay in hotels of Cavtat and to be there exactly when the festival is on. So this, for me, for so much efforts we are going through, is really one of the nicest compliments, I should say. Also, it's lovely to, in such a cultural place as Dubrovnik is, and also Cavtat. Cavtat is even more older, more ancient than Dubrovnik. They recall it as a start of Dubrovnik. That's why Epidaurus, that's where the word is coming from. It's lovely to create the cultural tourism even more. I think it's an ideal place, an ideal setting, an ideal atmosphere for building and putting all together in symbiosis. Atmosphere, climate, people, tourism, music. And I must say, as a pianist, that Revelin should, maybe you will, it's a suggerimento, it's a suggestion, it's a nice, slight, kind suggestion of bringing back classical music to the Revelin. Authorities are not hearing me, or maybe yes, I would like, but to you. Classical music in Revelin are the nicest memories of my life. Bach concertos, Mozart concertos with the Dubrovnik Symphony Orchestra, whichever orchestra, where maybe and will always be the nicest memories of my life. And please, let's do classical music in the Revelin, because that's really a cultural tourism that should be. Classical music should never be forgotten.
Ivana, you have somebody who has played in Revelin in 1981.
Oh, then maybe we met.
Yes, I just spoke with Lina about this a little bit before we started.
I will never start to think about it.
Know that it is now Culture Club.
Yes, it's a lovely suggestion.
It is very nice, I think, from different reasons that it happened.
Yes, it's a lovely sound.
How long is it?
2010.
2010.
What a pity.
Quite a time. Yes, but we just spoke about the locations that Nicolina mentioned some of them, but really I think that Revelin was from the it's very, very, very big.
Yes, it's huge. But there are spots that can be.
And it had a very good acoustic.
Very good.
And
naturally.
So perhaps, I think totally to abandon
absolutely
concerts with the orchestra, I think it is a pity. Also.
It is a big,
But not excluding the Revelin, of course. So just kind of symbiosis.
Yes.
To live together.
Well, so I must say, what I meant was not combining and living in symbiosis with Revelin, because we have different concepts of Venice, but with the other things in whole tourism, which is first of all in your area it could be agroturismo, like agricultural tourism, or like gastronomy in the town. So the places where basically the money is being made and that are somehow core of this type of tourism, how to come and to reach symbiotic spots with them. So what do you do to achieve that in Konavle or in Safet, which is not the same?
No.
So Safet has, say, more similar type of tourism like Dubrovnik, but Konavle is...
They have an antagonism in 2 kilometers. It's funny. It's tricky, it's risky. If you take Kutjevo wines, like we did 2 days ago, like Konavle people who make winemakers were not jealous, but what are you doing with Kutjevo wines, with all the wine? but now, culture and art is important for this, to make the bridge. And what happened? Mr. Moralic, who is one of the richest persons in Croatia, Bosnian in Croatia, who has these villas in Cavtat, and Kutjevo wine, came, and it was after maybe 8 years that with the authorities of Cavtat and Konavle, they spoke. I think I've told enough.
8 years it took.
And I was so happy. I was silent. I was only listening, and I said, "Thank you, art. Thank you, God. Thank you, beauty of this place. And for all our efforts, this is the answer." Posso tradurre almeno questo?
Sì. No.
Sul vino?
Credo che sarà tradotto.
È tradotto?
Yeah,
è tradotto? Può sentire? Mi dispiace che non ci può.
Prevedete questa volta.
Bevo.
Da.
Almeno sul vino, mi dispiace un po' che sta.
In Revelin, you have your own service catering then?
Yes, as I said, Revelin itself is a multifunctional venue, so you don't do only music, you don't do only electronic music, and I would like to say as well that yes, we do have a classical part, just not on a way that it's a concert, it's a part of the events that we are doing for foreign clients. So unfortunately locals might be invited just accordingly to the list of if they are a guest on that event. I agree that should be represented throughout a certain timeline of the year, that part as well, but it needs to be talked about, it needs to be organized, it needs to be well from both sides in order to achieve something. It's just not black and white, it's always a gray color in between. And there is a lot of classical things happening in Revelin throughout the dinner, throughout the gala evenings, which is very elegant, which you cannot put electronic music in that kind of events because they really don't suit that kind of theme or atmosphere itself. Therefore, we do combination of involvement of different resources from the town, whether it's suppliers from the town in regards to food, suppliers throughout Croatia in regards to wine. So basically this organoleptic pleasures comes from first regional part and afterwards wider throughout Croatia. We always do offer a Croatian product. Very rarely we go for a foreign product unless it's really a request from the guest. And obviously involvement of different kind of people, whether it's a part of production, whether it's a part of musicians, whether it's part of entertainment departments. So it is definitely something that we try to incorporate in one body throughout these events. However, talking about it, and when you said this needs to be done on a much bigger scale, it needs to work as a destination itself. destination needs to provide major pinpoints what actually destination wants to be before everybody else. So basically it needs to go from the top, and then later on us small, I would say, will work our way, because it's in our interest to definitely present our houses in the best light, and to give a guests who are guests of this town the beautiful experiences that they should have, no matter we are talking about either classical, food, wine, music, electronics, arts, history, whatever it is. I think Dubrovnik is a brand name for itself, and it's been through centuries, and as I said, I decided to live here. It's a beautiful place to live, it's a beautiful place to show, and you really need to be proud of the city that you're living in. But the destination itself, I think, needs to definitely pinpoint the directions where they want to take us for the next step.
And we are never really enjoying this vision from the people above. So
Because you are here.
and it's difficult to for us.
Depends
When the time
on
comes, when the
people.
season starts, it's difficult to reserve one part of your head for
I
just.
can give you an example, which is not, again, a theme, but as how the destination worked for itself last 45 years, which is Ibiza. Ibiza works as a destination. Everybody goes there, what you said, people go there for a party, for experience, for entertainment. And that has been, whether we like it or not, whether we appreciate that kind of thing, that has been established, and everybody in the world know when you go to Ibiza, you're going to have a party. Therefore, we need to do similar things, obviously not connected only to parties, but to actually direct in which direction should we go and what could we offer to our guests and clients here in the
If I may add an ecology also, jel da? To je divno.
I understand completely what you are talking about, and you're right. It's only in this case, if I understood good, also some of us that are thinking, just not to lose like the Dubrovnik Summer Festival, the location of Revelin. Because there are not so many Revelins and so many people. Revelin has his
Only one.
and it's only one. But not including, if you could do the negotiations with some Dubrovnik Summer Festival, and 4 days for the Dubrovnik Summer Festival, and Friday, Saturday night, and then Sunday for Culture Club. I think it is also important, but not to lose as a location Revelin, because I really didn't know that. So I understood yesterday that Revelin is not functioning like. I don't know, where do you do the orchestra concerts?
They do in Revelin.
Yes.
Yeah, but in a very, very narrow.
No, they did it throughout.
Slanica.
They do, no. In Revelin.
Sada opet.
They had last year, Dubrovnik Symphonic Orchestra had four or five times inside of the space with more than 300 guests. One of the issues that you have in Revelin, no matter what is the sound, acoustic quality of the place, you have barriers where not everybody can see the stage. You understand? Because it's the arches in between, and there are big columns.
But that helps.
I would say
it's very charming.
30% of the people, if it's full, will actually not see the thing. It can be overcome with technical things, with the screens and things, but this is one of the issues when we talk about the issues of the space itself.
Dubrovnik does not have a concert venue, as you probably know, so we, for the summer festival, it's not a problem to use Rectus Palace for even a smaller size orchestra venues. For all other things, we need to go outside and amplify the sound. So there's no solution for that. You cannot live with it, and we have to amplify even the acoustically friendly.
But the winter?
Yes, I was going to ask you. What do you think? Where do we perform?
Usually plays like in Revelin, or they have we have seen probably today the university building.
Yes,
just under the university building, there's a very well kept beautiful garden and villa inside. And so this was the place.
Sad je orkestar to dobio u svoje ruke. Dobili su.
It's a small scale palace.
Dobro da je dobio orkestar svojega Pucića.
They could host up to 200 people. So that's something that it's not so. Dubrovnik is not a big city, it's a big town. It's something that could be enough for most of the symphonic concerts in the winter time. The theater is also very small. You need to move the the chairs and to adjust the stage to host the orchestra. So it's also not something that could host symphonic concerts. Yes, chamber music could be hosted there. And you have churches, which are cold and over acoustic, all of them.
Yes.
Just the Franciscan churches, is it?
Yes, better. Yes.
Almost impossible.
Yes. It's hyper acoustic.
During summer churches, do they have air conditioning?
No. Some of them.
We used to have at least one concert in the church. I mean, you would sweat a bit, but it was worth it because there was a last thing I remember was Mozart.
Air
Nobody complained because it was really something.
Dobre, u manjim sredinama prije naprave.
If I may just say, I think that the leitmotiv of this session will be actually the venues, because I think that many of us experience problems with finding appropriate venues for different programs that we do within our festivals. So I think that we'll hear many interesting examples.
Very. Yes. Luckily, churches in Cavtat are air conditioned. And it's so good for us. One of them, another one will be, or yes, I think it's. We haven't done anything so far. But what I was going to ask you, what do you think? What's the artistic life or concert life of Dubrovnik during the winter? How do you imagine it? How do you imagine it? How do you think? What is our life? Because when we are all here. Summery, dressed well, dark, on the beaches. We come from all over the world. Dubrovnik is fantastic. Everywhere on the airplanes, on the trains, on the buses. Okay, that's a cartolina, a postcard. But what do you think, we as Dubrovnik native or living here, what do you think, what do we do during the winter time? How do you imagine it?
I imagine it's not so cold. We don't have snow.
And how is the concert life?
Might be less than the summer.
Good.
You do something.
You have time to pause and to plan for the
There's
summer.
theater. Okay, it works.
It's more.
There's the Dubrovnik Symphony Orchestra, which does work, but does not really have where to work. So
This is why the Revelin would be an option
they
again.
give some concerts there. They will be hopefully giving concerts regularly, at least once a week, which is not bad for a town of this size, I must say. In the newly won palace near the university.
That's right, that's good.
And well, I must say this, for this type, so this size of the town, it's not so bad.
No. We are developing.
Destination.
We are developing.
The name of the project that we are part of is shaping the capacities of classical music industry in Western Balkans.
Classical, yeah.
Because this obviously the project and the funding from Creative Europe was somehow thought to help acknowledging that the region has different challenges. The countries that are part have different challenges, opportunities. For example, when we talk about Dubrovnik, Cavtat, maybe Kotor, there's no hesitation to say that the culture, the tourism, the venues are, how to say, an incentive already.
Yes.
And then with the combination of the good program and good marketing, you fill in all the puzzles of an industry.
Yes.
But the real industry, let's say the classical music industry, is out of the region, is in Europe. They have an industry, they produce, they product, they organize, they're self-sustainable in the classical music industry. In our countries, I think in some of them, it's not. For example, in Kosovo, we are not talking about an industry yet. We are talking about an emancipation, an education process to promote already the classical music to be part of our life in that region. And of course the challenges are the venue, we don't have a concert hall, and we don't have that kind of touristic, let's say, incentive. We, for example, can think and can develop to ask people something which is maybe interesting itself. If you may attract tourism, is the historical facts, like Pristina as a capital of a new country that came out of the war, that has the most, let's say, lively youth, but that will not attract, let's say, people to come from Germany, from Austria. So, I'm going to Pristina to see a concert of classical music.
Nice restaurants.
Our classical, let's say, institutions are just in the beginning. We have the Kosovo Philharmony that is celebrating 20 years now.
But you have a good theater, don't you?
A theater?
Yes.
But even that is like,
Yes.
the theater is being renovated.
Yes.
What we had before the symphonic orchestra.
Yes.
From the 70s and then distorted.
It's a capital, like Zagreb.
We are now building the opera as an institution for the first time. Let's say it's still selling. That may be an incentive for the other people to say, hey, it's easier to go in Rome because there are that's the others. But come to Pristina to see how the new.
But still, let's face it, who goes to Rome or to Venice for a concert? Nobody.
Well, there
You will go to Vienna for a concert.
Yes.
Because I mean that's investment for a couple of hundred years.
I wanted to say.
That
So when you
shaped
go to
Vienna.
these touristic venues, the venue is the first, let's say, attraction, and then if you can fill up. For example, in our case, we are completely focusing in the program. And Professor Delia has this, talent to really find good people. But still, we cannot see as an industry. People do not know, for example, that Peter Donahoe is coming to perform in Pristina.
No.
Or some.
Sorry for
You must educate and.
what I'm thinking is that there's something I'm with you, know what you say, but I think that we all recognize that we need more help from our institutions, and the problem is in every country, even in Dubrovnik, that the institutions, the government doesn't have a strategy. Even in Kosovo or in Albania.
Excuse me, doesn't have strategies.
Strategy.
Yeah.
That, Ivana just spoke
Yes.
about the culture, about the education, because it goes both in the same direction.
But we must awake these strategies in them. We must talk to them.
This year we were in Chopin Piano Fest, and it was amazing. One month, and it was your colleagues studied. Not the minister studied, and I don't know what the minister in Kosovo does. I'm not.
They are doing now a new strategy.
But the idea is that always the government doesn't go with are 2 steps behind these programs, Dubrovnik program, Albanian programs, and this is a big problem because they don't catch the time. In Dubrovnik, you have the halls and people. You have both halls and you can make their concert. But in Kosovo, that you don't have the places. You are talking about places. You are basically with the artists. You go with the other side of the medal. For example, you have even the other festival of Dua Lipa, Zanali Festival, that is going bigger. So people came for the festivals. But we need we need bigger strategy.
But for example, institutions will measure us, let's say when they do the funding polls. For example, we have DocuFest, which is a film festival. Sorry.
So in Montenegro, we do have strategy as well. But as a festival, we are trying to impose strategy to our decision makers on city level, on state level. So we think that having a festival is a good strength in order to show what can you do.
Yes.
So in terms of values we want to communicate, certain topics we want to communicate. So program-wise and production-wise, we are trying to impose production standards, program quality, values we want to. For us, that's really important. For example, this year's opening of the Culture Festival, we had Music of Unity as the title of the subtitle of the festival. So we had Albanian orchestra, we had Montenegrin soloists, we had a conductor from Croatia, and we wanted to say, okay, you're all crazy in Europe with this war, and we can be things. We want to impose unity.
Yes.
We were talking, so that was we found, so we did the research. We found operas written by French and Czech composer. So we used, in European Union, there was France, like,
Presidency.
Yeah, presidency and Czech presidency. So we made it.
Yes, they were transitioning from French to Czech.
So we had opera from French opera dedicated to Montenegrin and Czech opera dedicated to Montenegrin. So we made like we are part of Europe. Yes. Yeah, but that was the thing because we are not with program strategy. We are animating different parts of decision makers, diplomatic corps, and also the audience because they feel like they are part of something important. And that helps us with the production as well because we can then use bigger spaces and get bigger spaces and attract bigger audience with that. So, you know, when you live in a country that is underdeveloped in terms of cultural policy, we somehow feel responsible with 20 plus years of experience to impose that. Like,
Još traje.
Again, we belong to the civil sector, then also we have the responsibility of trying to change something.
I think this is what makes us all together.
Yeah,
because we are leading the process.
Yes.
One interesting issue. This state policy in ex-Yugoslav countries is very clear. It is not happening only in Dubrovnik, in Croatia. It's everywhere. But the difference is, we in Kosovo, we don't have what to say because we don't have concert halls. We don't have festivals every 5 years. We don't have, but you have it, and it's your credit. And I cannot imagine, I was living in Austria for 15 years since the war, 99, and I cannot imagine that somebody in Vienna would say, let's kill the Vienna once. So, you know, from tomorrow we will opera Wiener Concerthaus, or we see every year, we will make a club for something. Please, I understand commercial reasons, and it's perfect for Dubrovnik. It's really, only I'm speaking about the location. Because I understand that he was right. There are so many people that come for party. They are not interested to listen to the orchestra. I understand that, although
there are many, yes.
As a musician, and I'm fighting for the quality, high standards.
But we must educate the youth.
Peter Donovan wants to come, will come with orchestra.
Which is very difficult.
But he wants to play also recital. I'm sorry, you cannot play recital because you don't get that. So they are willing to come. And they don't ask if there's standing. No, there is no standing. Because production of the music has to do also with the sound and the quality of that. What also Nicolina said about 3,000 euros only for yes. So for example, we cannot do that. So we don't have these conditions, but we do that. We do that. I'm very sorry that his artistry will not come out as
he may not record that concert and make a CD.
But I really think that you have what to say.
We are lucky.
And you are responsible for that. I understand policy, political policy. I understand because it is economical reasons, and they are right for that. They want, but your interest is something else. So I think that you must confront it. If I would be in your place in Pristina, if we would have, I would try to make negotiations and to make to compromise that and to say that
you'll be surprised how many of our artists really want to go clubbing after the concert. I mean,
we can do that.
It's perfectly doable.
Make it club after.
But there is also a synergy. I don't know if you heard of that, whether you actually heard of it. You have a Royal Philharmonic Orchestra in England playing with DJs. People are enjoying it because this is the way to educate people that electronics and classic can go together. It's just a good music. It doesn't really matter which kind of music. If it's good music, it's a good music. So therefore, it doesn't necessarily mean, meaning the audience, looking at the audience today, I would say, I don't know, I'm not going to go into percentages, but a lot of youngsters will go for electronic music. But if you combine them together, maybe you'll bring the interest in the other kinds of music as well.
We had some ideas about that. We had some programs already, a program started, but it never came to realization because of the...
But there is the technical thing.
Yes, tradition is very well.
We tried to do.
If we would have something like that in Kosovo, for example, I was very disappointed when in Tirana was the old theater.
Yes, exactly.
Destroyed. Yeah, it was destroyed. I couldn't believe it was 110 years. And it was really,
Well, it was different
no, I'm just thinking without any political. I just think it's something. It's like to destroy one building in Dubrovnik.
It was destroyed.
That's not
totally.
something that the production can cover.
But we are Balkan again.
So this is a bit way out of topic.
But for production and tradition, so we are always. I always have that one sentence of one Orthodox priest, actually. So I spoke with him about
Bi morali izraditi elaborat vrhunske klasične sezone i ponuditi gradu za Revelin. S mojim iskustvom. Čujte, ja u jednom cajtu održim koncerte koji su sad trenutno, evo vidite, došli tako uspješni da
aspect of contemporary times we can get in order to promote religion, whatever. But often classical music festivals or is doing that.
Tiču se sa Dubrovnikom u Sorrenti, gdje sam povela cijeli grad. 2006. I sad idemo ponovno. Sorrento je jedan grad koji je, on je jako dobar za slijediti. Primjer odličan. Turizam cijelu godinu.
That's okay. So sometimes we often ask ourselves, is the spectacular to make spectacle the only thing we want, or do we want to have smaller programs and just intertwine different music programs, stuff there?
Yes, what you're saying is putting the production in the principal role of a program. So the production itself is a creative hub for a program, then it could be something really appealing and it moves the people and it creates buzz that even the politics cannot just...
Exactly.
Yes.
So and they can understand. Nicolina, are you sleeping?
Do you hear us?
Sleeping.
Could you tell me please, what was the... can you hear me? Crkva opet.
Nije.
Jadno, ne čuje nas.
Jel me čuješ? Jadno.
Ajoj. Zašto nije mogla doći? Je li bolesna, gospođa? Nisam razumjela. Ja čestitala njemu, ja mislim da je njegova žena, krivo se shvatila.
Da samo možda kažeš koji su neki, recimo, tvoji najzahtjevniji produkcijski momenti zadnjih par godina na festivalu i s koliko ljudi raspolažemo i kako je moguće da te ljude rasporediti na nekoliko lokacija simultano?
Okay. So basically, the bigger project, the bigger problem. This better concerts like chamber music and stuff. It's not so complicated until this year, when I think most of the people around the table will agree. We had a huge problem with getting people to work. So I don't know if it's a touristic thing or it's a global, but it was very hard to find, especially technical help in a technical sense, because probably as Kotor, I don't know about other festivals, but we are building every venue for every event from scratch. So if we are having a concert in the Rector's Palace, we need to bring the chairs, set up the chairs, move the piano, or do other adjustment to have a concert in that place. So basically the biggest issues in our case this year wasn't actually a financial issue, but just getting people to work. I don't know what our others' experience you can share with me, but it was like one issue, either it was a small project or big project, it was the main issue. Tomislav, I can't hear you.
Yeah. What are the when you're organizing concert in front of the St. Blasius or in front of the cathedral? What things do need to be covered that usually we don't think about when we just plan a concert? What do you have to think of?
Sorry, can you
Kad planiraš koncert recimo ispred Blaža, Svetog Vlaha ili ispred katedrale, koje su sve stvari na koje recimo ja možda ne obraćam pozornost, a koje su potrebne da se odrade da bi to funkcioniralo?
For example, first to set up a negotiation with all the restaurants and bars around it, not to interfere with the performance, and allow us, in a sense, of make some really nice deal to allow us to move their chairs and tables in order to set up the stage, which usually for such a big project takes a few days. And then, of course, trying to keep the city during July and August, when it's full of tourists and other people, some kind of quiet. And I don't know, everything else, I mean, it's hard in general because since it is the time when the city is full, so it's very hard even for the trucks to bring the equipment, to set up for sound. I think it's very challenging for the sound engineers to try to balance the noise of the city and the performance. And I don't know, every year is something else. Don't get me wrong. There are so many problems, but then at the end you see the final performance and you're very happy that you did it and that you managed to do it the best you can in the circumstances you have.
So and finally we come to the artist itself and not just technicalities and the audience. So tell me please, since we have you now with the full sound, what do we do or what can we do better to establish a closer connection to the artist, to make the festival a special place, a special memory in her or her life as well, to try to be friends to people who come here and to establish a reputation and our own feeling of being really connected to the people who come here, not just like on working like on na pokretnoj traci, on a police band, but really creating something which is unique. Is it possible?
Are you asking me?
Aha. Znači šta možemo napraviti da se...
I'm so sorry for this because
It's okay. It's your son.
Per laptop, I can't hear you.
Yes,
so that can you please unmute it? Thank you.
Ne, znači pitanje je bilo dakle što možemo napraviti da bi onako prisnije odnose sa umjetnicima postaviti tako da to bude samo nešto kolaboracija, nego da stvarno bude i za njih doživljaj, mjesto koje će možda onako usjećati malo bolje, tako kako bi mogli kao festival neko odnose sa umjetnicima stvarati.
Okay, so for me it's definitely a question of hospitality, which I guess in former golden times, the artists, when they came to Dubrovnik, they had more time. As I hear the stories, they had I don't know, a couple of days to stay, to get to know the town and make some connections with local artists, with the people from festival, etc. But these days, especially financially wise, most of the artists come either the day before the concert or the day of the concert, which leaves really a small amount of time to make connections, to get to know each other, to maybe in a sense of making them more feel like home, to fall in love in Dubrovnik, not just architecture, but in a lifestyle or something. So maybe they come again and produce something new, or I don't know, in that sense.
So we'll try this year, for instance, to keep artists for a couple of days and to combine them in various groups or like solo recital with the orchestra, just to try to have this possibility of having them in one place for 3 days without losing money at the same time.
Yeah.
Do you think it's worth it?
You mean like the projects like I don't know, Čudesna and stuff where you have more work to do, or?
Well, this is, let's say, the first two concerts, to have a violinist here, first with one program, then combined with the cello, and then cello with the symphony orchestra as a third.
Yeah.
Keep them somehow.
This is
same as your program, your
Family.
program,
Families.
on music rock.
Yeah.
Which is also a great project, because you're working for a couple of days and then you are making completely new connections and new atmosphere and energy during that time. So maybe if we could have an opportunity to
bring the grandmother,
more cooperations like that people, when they come to Dubrovnik, artists, when they come to Dubrovnik, to stay more time, that would be great.
So we can treat like stars some people, not all of them, and really even those things. The production is so complicated, you cannot dedicate your time to somebody fully because there's something else going on.
How do you do you have some tools and time to approach the artists a bit more personally?
We bring them for 2 or 3 days maximum. This is, I want really to keep the quality, one event, and that because also we are smaller, we are a very intimate festival, not for that less important. Yes, and what we try to do is a collaboration with the Hotel Croatia, which is Adriatic luxury chain, and I'm very honored to be, the whole Epidaurus festival is connected with them, and it is a huge, all that I don't know how many of you know Cavtat. Have you ever been there? Yes. So you can know that all this bay of Cavtat is in a form of hug, and I like to say that we are all hugged by the art in those days when we, not more than 2 to 3 days. That's the maximum. Depends on the also traveling from which part of the world the person is coming. Like for instance, I can go back to our recent happenings. It was a tango from Buenos Aires, and artists were having a tour in Europe, my dear colleagues from Buenos Aires, and we did that. They stayed for 2 days, so they offered to us a workshop of tango, and also their rehearsals were open to the audience, and it was lovely to see, first of all, a very professional dance, to listen to the bandoneon expert, who really we can't really listen every day, plus the beautiful climate and beauty of Cavtat together. So I should say they stayed, this was the most, 3 days altogether, and they already wrote to me they want to come back. So this is the best, maybe best compliment. Let us projects and number 16 of one intimate and chamber festival speak itself. I would not speak more. This year, I would like to ask you one question, maybe also an advice. Some of you are older than me, some of them. Tomorrow, our diva Radoka Šverko with the piano accompaniment should sing. Now, she's lovely. She's absolutely a very humble person and beautiful voice, and etc. They already said rain, Now, what would you do I'm asking you for an advice. What would you do? This maybe I will learn something. Now I'm in this difficulty. Yes, it's not really nice. 75 years old, singer with.
Where is the concert?
It should be at a beautiful terrace, which is on the sea, and we can reach up to 500, 600 people out. So it is on the terrace of Villa Banat that is now private.
No.
We have some solutions, but is it worth of doing it? Is it worth of doing? Now we are coming back to all our topics of today. Is it worth of doing it if only 50 to 100 people can come instead of 500 or 600 or the whole Konavle region, and many of the Dubrovnik people want to come? Really, they can't. We will sell tickets, but this is not the priority because the concert is already covered.
So change the date.
I was thinking. Now I will tell you this morning what I came up to, because I must. Everybody's calling. If it will be, yes. If it's tonight, it will, yes. If it tonight will change suddenly, and tomorrow morning is terrible, we can change the plane ticket for the two of musicians, Maestro Babin and Maestra.
2019, I had same problem with Petri Cecu.
Yes.
Organized in a big amphitheater. 700 people were there.
Yes.
And 1 week before the concert, all week was raining. And 1 month before, I started praying for
I'm doing the same.
It helps.
Okay, I'm doing that. Look at the sun. They already said it was going to rain.
But it's dangerous.
It's her.
I will say,
so please think of us tomorrow, please, and send good vibes to Zapcat. 8 o'clock.
You're pretty much okay.
I'm pretty much okay, colleague said. Okay. I'm pretty much okay. I'm so happy. This lady is marvelous, you know. Radojka very well. She's unique. She's from human point of view, from artistic point of view.
Maybe to come.
No, so thank you for sharing with me.
You could get, if it's covered, concert, as you said.
Yes, it is covered.
Yeah.
Luckily.
Maybe to find some small investment to buy good umbrellas and good shades.
When? Tonight?
For the audience, because Ljubljana did it before. They now have, of course, covered Križake hall, so they don't have any problem. But last year they had everything in front on the main square.
Good.
Was it the concert sitting there in full rain?
Everybody was sitting.
Like proms in London.
Nobody moved 1,000 people. The umbrellas.
Good. Yes. It's a good idea for the next time.
And maybe just a small cover stage.
No.
That would be the best.
Stage, yes. For the stage,
that would be the best.
And if it's not, raining cats and dogs, like it used to, it can rain here.
Yeah, but our colleague was surprised, she was coming from Belgrade for that concert, and she said, I thought to go out, but nobody would come. Everybody was sitting, 1,000 people, yeah?
Exactly.
Everybody with umbrellas, raincoats, just, cheap raincoats, but everybody was sitting.
But there's a difference in mentality. You can do it in London, perhaps in Ljubljana. Nobody comes out of the house if it's not sunny. So that's why I think we should make a break and go enjoy the sun.
Ali rekli ste da, vi ste već, imam da će video. A vi gledate za Norvešku, oni su sjajni, ne lažu. Tek neđu ponoć, ja? Nije,
to je 0,1,
1%.
Još je 3 vjetra, tako da to...
A 8 je okej. Ajme, daj Bože. Znači da ne mijenjam karte još.
Tek u ponoć.
A u ponoć i subota nam je, to nam je u zatvorenom, tako Edith Piaf, to je okej. A što nam kaže za neđelju? Isto okej, ja? Okej. Thank you.
Hvala lijepo za sad.
Hvala. Evo, ja se nadam da smo uletili. Da malo smo uklopili ljudi.